Time now for another check of our weather. Brittany, what can you tell us?
Well, Tradisha, I know it's not your favorite day because it was cooler today in the 50s, but tomorrow, ton of sunshine, lots of warm temperatures too, at least compared to where we were today. Upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Now, current temperature sits at 57. We're normally in the 70s, so this was certainly a cooler day. Winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but as they drop off tonight, the winds lowering and high pressure building in, we're going to see a pretty big temperature drop as most areas across the Charlotte metro and north will drop to about 37 degrees or colder. Now you can see the freeze warnings here over toward the Asheville area, most of the blue issuing that frost advisory. I mentioned this earlier in the show, but if you're wondering why we are seeing one here in the metro, but maybe not in the mountains where it's typically cooler, it's because our growing season did officially kick off. Typically that happens around April 1st. So when that occurs, the National Weather Service issues the frost advisories, the freeze warnings, and the watches. But for areas that haven't started to see growth, they don't need to because essentially they have a chance of being that cold every single night. Now, when we do see that, there will be a chance for everybody. I know that's kind of confusing. We do have more information over on our website, WCNC.com. I know Chris has actually done a Weather IQ on this before, and that sits on our website, our mobile app, and of course on our YouTube channel. But what you need to know tonight is that temperatures will drop into the upper 30s to even the mid 30s in some spots, which means if you did plant a few items early, you definitely want to make sure that those are covered up or brought inside before you head to bed tonight. Temperatures across the mountain areas will likely fall to right around the freezing mark, and it's not out of the question that places like Morganton, North Wilkesboro, most of Wilkes County couldn't see temperatures at that freezing mark as well. Charlotte and outer areas 37, if not colder. The reason why we see this, it's called radiational cooling after a cold front, which is why we saw rain and storms Thursday and Friday. And so once that frontal boundary pushes through and high pressure builds in, that sinking motion of air not only allows for temperatures to settle closer to the ground, but also as winds die down, so does that cold air. It kind of comes along with it, which is why we are colder heading into this evening. Now, something else fun is happening this evening, and I guess it's actually happening in about an hour and a half or so, but it is the April full moon, which is the pink moon. It has a few other names, but it's going to be full tonight at 8:22. Now, official moon rise is going to be right around 9 o'clock or so. So just kind of between about 8 and 10. Keep an eye out for it if you do plan on being out and about. It is named the pink moon because of the moss pink that typically does happen in the springtime here in the south and east. Again, as many of the moons do, it has tons of other names. It's officially a micromoon too. If you saw that on social media, Instagram, things like that. Yes, it's technically one of the smallest we've seen in a few years, but I'll tell you, when we see a micromoon or even some of the bigger moons, the supermoons, it's really not much of a significant difference in size, just based on what we can see here on Earth. So it'll be bright, it'll be beautiful, but nothing out of the ordinary. Sunday brunch forecast tomorrow morning. Again, we know it's going to be cold in the upper 30s, but we'll quickly warm with sunshine and dry air to the lower 50s by 10 o'clock, lower 60s by about 1 and 2, and then eventually we're peaking close to 70. And if 70 tomorrow sounds great, maybe you're excited about the 80s returning on Monday. It really is going to be a temperature roller coaster over the next few days. While Monday won't necessarily reach a record high, it's going to be close to it. Think about that, folks. We were in the upper 50s today. Look at the Guy Roofing 7-day. Tomorrow we're close to 70. Then we're back in the 80s Monday before another brief storm system does cool us down heading into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Another chance that rain arrives into next week. But look, it comes back with the 80s.